Welcome to the Silver Spring Golf Club in Menominee Falls, site of the 21st annual Milwaukee Panther Women's Basketball Golf Classic. My name is Matt MENZL. What a day to golf and a day to celebrate the 2020-21 Milwaukee Panther Women's Basketball team that went 20-8, a team that finished as co-Horizon League regular season champions with the Wright State Raiders, and the Panthers qualified for the postseason WNIT. Also an opportunity to start preparing and thinking about what could be in 2021-22. Earlier, we had the opportunity to catch up with some of the key returnees along with new assistant coach TYRA Buss. What made Milwaukee an attractive destination for you as far as coaching goes?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, I knew Kyle from when she was an assistant at Wisconsin. She recruited me when I was in high school, and so we kind of started building that relationship then, and then what she's been able to do for the program here at Milwaukee and building it up to, being a winning program. And obviously, I love to win. I'm a really hard worker, and I want to be mentored by someone like Kyle and Coach Stacy and Coach P and the rest of the coaching staff, and so this was just a perfect fit for me. We all get along really well. I love the city of Milwaukee, and the players are absolutely amazing.
And you mentioned to me that coaching was always a route you wanted to go. You got the opportunity to coach at Evansville. How was that experience as far as just helping you grow into the role?
Yeah, absolutely. I was really grateful for Coach Ruffing and for him to give me the opportunity to get into coaching right away, right after college, and not have to really go that GA route, but just become an assistant. I learned a lot. I mean, as you can imagine, being a coach your first year in the COVID season, it was crazy to say the least. But I definitely learned a lot, and I'll take those experiences with me, and I'll just continue to grow as a coach.
And finally, is it challenging, or do you like the fact that, as mentioned, you're fresh from your career, so you can relate to the players today. You're not that far removed, and in some cases, around the same age. Does that help? Does that hinder?
Yeah, I think it helps tremendously, to be able to relate to the players. And I think the biggest thing for me is building those relationships. And being new, that's something that I really wanted to do right away this summer, is to be able to get to know the players, not just on the basketball court, but more on a personal level as well, because I think that's really important for them. And so that's something that I've really taken the time to do, is start building those relationships. And they're amazing, and I'm so happy to be here, and I love everyone.
First of all, let's begin without basketball-related topics. Let's talk about your summer, how your summer's been going.
Summer's been great. I mean, with COVID and everything, it's getting back to normal, which is nice. And I've been doing school, work, soccer, basketball, staying busy, which has been really nice.
Of course, many know you as a multi-sport athlete with the Panthers, having played soccer and basketball, but last year being your first basketball-only year with Milwaukee. Did your preparation, at least preparing for the basketball season, change at all, not having soccer to, conflict with your basketball preparation?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely did. I noticed I was able to get in the gym more. I feel like I wasn't as shaky coming into the first couple games, which was really nice, and I think that just built my confidence going into the rest of the season.
No question, you had some breakout performances. The Horizon League tournament matchup against Youngstown State stands out. What is your focus, I guess, going into this upcoming 2021-22 season?
Personally, just continuing to build that confidence, and we've had multiple meetings with the coaches, and I just need to be more of a scoring threat. So that's been a big focus this summer for me.
First of all, how's your summer been going?
It's good. It's going really fast. We're seeing a lot of growth within the team, and I'm getting back and healthy, so it's a marathon, right? It's not a sprint.
Of course, the big question was, with the 5 seniors from last season, who's coming back? And it was announced, obviously, that you're going to be back in uniform. Was that a tough decision, easy decision? What went into that decision?
No, it was pretty easy. As bad as COVID was, there were some positives that came out of it, and I was getting an extra year. I have more school. I'm going to grad school for OT, so that would be nice to play basketball at it. And, you can't give me a year of basketball and just walk away from it. I'll have to come back. So,
obviously, from a team standpoint, the season went well. For you, it went really well. How would you assess the way you played this past winter into spring?
Yeah, I think we hit a lot of our goals as a team, but there was still one goal, obviously, that we didn't get. And we'll learn a lot from last year. Last year was a really good year. And I think that this team is different than last year, and that's a good thing. But we still have some growth, and I really believe that we have all the right pieces to, get that last goal that we didn't get last year. So.
And finally, from a basketball standpoint, what's been maybe the focus for you in your game? What areas are you looking at going, hey, if I can get a little bit better here?
Yeah. There's something every year. Ball handling is a big thing. Got to get that down. And then just locking into my shot every single year. It's just getting that knee healthy, and hopefully we're all ready by the time basketball starts. So.
Okay, what went into obviously transferred to Milwaukee. What made Milwaukee your destination?
Just the program, and I had a connection with the coaches when I did my Zoom calls with them because I didn't get to visit on campus. So making those connections over Zoom call, and I just really felt like, you know, their IQ and the way the team was all brought together, I just felt like it was a place I needed to be.
What was the biggest challenge, or what was the biggest adjustment you had to make from one program to the next?
There was a lot more structure here at Milwaukee, and a lot of the players are a lot more hardworking, I would say, and had a lot more drive than where I came from. So kind of getting switched back into that determination, that discipline, that kind of switch. Yep.
So how did year number one in Milwaukee go for you?
It was good. I grew a lot mentally, especially as a player, but also physically, and I made a lot of good connections and bonds with the coaches and all my teammates.
So how's your summer been going? And I guess maybe from a basketball standpoint, to piggyback off that, what has been your focus as far as basketball-related activity goes?
As far as basketball, it's been a lot more shooting, trying to increase my three-point percentage and also being more hungry in the gap line on defense to get more steals.
I'm venturing to guess, too, we'll wrap it up with, you're excited, too, to get the opportunity to finally play in front of the home crowd, something you didn't get the opportunity to do last winter.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at Winthrop, we didn't have many fans, and then coming here last year, there was no fans. So hopefully next year, you know, we get the crowds back into it, and I'm super excited.
Well, going back to the COVID season of 2020-21, you were coming back from an injured season from the year before. What was the biggest challenge for you in just, you know, getting back to close to 100%?
I think the biggest thing is the mental aspect of coming back from an injury, because physically, I mean, I have great trainers and teammates who are working with me all the time to get back in shape, but just the mental aspect of, like, I hadn't played in a year and a half, and then all of a sudden we were back in workouts and kind of just like flipping that switch and getting my mindset back to playing. But I think it was a pretty easy adjustment for me once I got going, and obviously the COVID year was kind of weird, but the great support system that I had with my teammates and coaches really helped me along the way.
You know, obviously, everybody knows about your offensive ability and the offensive numbers, you know, on display. But I think one area where you took a huge step was on the defensive side. And you look at some of your defensive performances, facing players like a Macy Williams, a couple of post players at Wright State. What are those battles like, you know, going back-to-back days against IUPUI, against Wright State, and against that kind of size?
It's very tough physically, but also, again, it's a big mental battle, like going back-to-back days. Like, you just have to be mentally prepared and just know that you're going to get pushed and shoved, and you just got to take it. And that's just something I need to do for my teammates, is get those defensive stops. So I knew that was my role, and I had to get it done.
What has your focus been here this offseason in preparation for this upcoming campaign?
A big focus of mine has just been like healing from some of the injuries that I've had coming off of last season. So I've been doing a lot of physical therapy for that, just getting back into basketball shape again and preparing myself to get back on the court and competing at that high level again.
Start with just the challenges of going from high school to college. What was maybe the biggest challenge for you making that adjustment?
I think the biggest challenge for me personally was the strength, because you have to be a lot stronger once you get to the college game, and like building that strength is probably the toughest thing for me.
Is there one performance for you that stand out among the rest, at least from your first year?
Thinking back to it, I haven't really like looked deep into it, but I think the Green Bay wins, those were really big for my career, like a turnaround point. Some of those shots were really big.
How do you feel your confidence maybe grew from opening day against Ball State all the way postseason WNIT?
I think my confidence grew when my teammates had more confidence in me. So when they were willing to get me the ball because they knew I was going to make it, that's when I became more confident.
So how's your summer been going now that, okay, first season's in the book, now things are starting to kind of go back to normal?
Well, having the first summer, because we didn't get our summer last year, I just feel like it's incredible to like have this learning opportunity, which feels so much better than last year because we really didn't, we had to do a lot of quick learning.
For you, is there a certain part of your game that you're focused on? Like you say, hey, you know what, this is an area that based on my first year, I can afford to improve in.
I've really been working on my inside finishing. I think that that's going to be a super important part of my game this year. That's probably the biggest thing, yeah.
And finally, you know, I asked you about the adjustment going from high school to college. Maybe what advice do you have for the incoming newcomers, the freshmen that are coming in for this 2021-22 season?
I think a lot of improvement comes later in the season, but right now they have to focus on the conditioning and the strength part of it.
So that's the latest here from Menominee Falls. The Milwaukee Panthers look to build off a successful 2021 season. Training camp will officially begin in October. Thanks for watching on the Black and Gold Network.